This year, I participated in the GMTK 2024 Game Jam. We had 96 hours to create a game from scratch as opposed to the usual 48 hours we had in the previous years. The theme of this year was Built to Scale. This is how my Game Jam went. My team for the Game Jam consisted of 7 members, 3 programmers, 2 artists, and 2 music and sound. We spent the first few hours discussing our ideas on what to make. In the end, we narrowed it down to 3 categories. The first idea was a base builder where you could zoom in and out of a planet view and solar system view, which is all space themed. Sort of like Factorio, but you could zoom in and out of different layers. Our second idea was a puzzle game. Something like Portal mixed with super minimal mechanics where you could shoot at objects and shrink and grow them. Our last idea was to make an arcade game. Either something like Vampire Survivors, but your weapon grows over time, or like that circle game that when you eat other circles you grow. In the end, we voted for a category and a base builder theme won. After that, we started making a list of things we need to make, and set up a Trello board to keep track of our work. Our idea was to create a space-based building game where you could build factories on your planets and create ships to attack other planets. We also had plans to create a robot that you can control, but that got scrapped after the second day. Our plan was to treat this like a 2-day game jam and have the last 2 days for debugging and polishing, but that doesn't always work out the way you planned it to be. The first day progress was slow as we had no art yet. On the programming side, we only implemented basic actions like ship movement, attacking, and being able to take control of bases. We also programmed the ability to place buildings down on a grid, as well as a planet generator which creates tiles for the planet. We did start on the robot movement, but as said earlier, the robot idea was scrapped. Day 2, not much was done. We got the ability to zoom in and out of planets when you click on one. We also combined the abilities to build buildings onto the planet generation, so you're able to build buildings onto planets. And lastly, we started getting art, so we were able to add the art for the planets, the planet tiles, and some ships. 2 days have passed and we still don't have a completed game, so we're on crunch time. We added the ability to generate a random number of planets for our galaxy. We also implemented better UI and finished implementing everything the player could build. Originally, the player was going to be able to build walls as well as conveyor belts to transport materials to the base, but as we were running low on time, we scrapped both of these ideas early on. Some bugs started appearing as we implemented object pooling for bullets, and now bullets randomly spawned out of nowhere. Luckily, that got patched quickly. We finally got the credits page done, and now our game is starting to look like a finished Game Jam game. Day 4 was the day to polish and debug our game, as we have yet to fully play our game from start to finish. Some of the polish we added was changing how the bullets look to have them leave a trail, as well as adding a tooltips to help players. We also finished the bare minimum for our title screen, even with the settings option. After that, we updated the title screen background and the game background to have this nice galaxy art our artist made. Finally, we did some quick tests from start to finish to make sure the game worked, and we did cheat sometimes to speed up this process, like making our turrets overpowered. Finally, it was time to submit our game and hope for the best. Overall, I think we did alright. I don't think we were as efficient as our time as I hoped we would be, as we weren't able to finish our game within 2 days and have the last 2 days for debugging and polishing as planned, but we still used as much of our time as possible. We also had to make cuts and remove some features like the player robot due to time constraint, but that's how game development goes. Overall, I wish we were able to add some of the cool things we had our artist made, for example, this cool 3D render ship, but unfortunately the style of the art doesn't really match the style of our current game, so we didn't force it in. This was definitely a fun experience, and you should try doing a game jam if you have time. You will learn quite a lot within that time.